Okay, do we have sound now? Hopefully we do. Oops, typo here. All right, someone give me a sound check. Okay, thank you, Billy. That was weird. Okay, so I had to jump rooms, but you all came with me, so that's good. Okay. Yes. Good, good, good. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay. We lost our poll, but that's okay. I'm going to assume, I didn't look at the poll, but I'm assuming a lot of you guys are beginners. So let's just go ahead and get started, you guys. Thanks for being patient with me. So, all right, let me kind of start over then. My name is Glenn Peters. I am the Director of Operations for Tim's Challenge team. And tonight I want to share a lot of stuff with you guys. I'm going to show you the exact process that has created over 36 millionaire traders. 2 of those just crossed the $1 million mark this year. During the webinar, I really want to give everyone a plan so you can find the exact same trades like the ones we're going to look at tonight. We're going to discuss later in the webinar. But really, I want to help all of you learn some rules to follow, how to get a better advantage in the market. I'm going to show you really exactly how you too can become profitable traders. So obviously, over the next hour, I can't teach you everything you need to know to be a successful trader, but I can give you some tips and some tricks, some rules to follow. We can break down some trades together. I can give you all a plan to get a better advantage in the market. So that's what kind of the plan for tonight. Also, Tim has me looking for his next successful student. So I'll definitely talk about that opportunity, but the fact that you guys are all here tells me you're serious about learning how to trade. And I want to help each and every one of you take your next best step on becoming a successful trader, So, so by the way, you guys, the market is closed tomorrow. So you have an extra day of studying. We'll definitely cover some stuff you guys can use on Tuesday, though. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so who is Tim Sykes? Tim is a multi-millionaire trader, mentor, and teacher. Tim travels the world, giving back to charity, teaching people how to trade, obviously trading himself. Tim started trading during college. He begged his mom and dad for $12,000 of his bar mitzvah money. They thought he'd lose it all in the market. But he actually, in 2 years, turned it into over $2 million and has gone on to be a trader, very successful trader ever since that. After college, Tim had a short bias hedge fund. He was one of the top financial bloggers out there. He was on several financial networks, kind of sharing his story and his strategy. And a lot of people started reaching out to Tim, and they wanted to learn what he did. And so Tim started teaching years ago, just a little bit here and there, and really fell in love with the whole process, over time, Tim kept on, bringing students on, and it kind of evolved into what he does now. Tim has now become known as the Millionaire Maker, So I'm sure you guys have seen all these success stories. I mean, from Tim Grattani to Mari to Jack to Matt Monaco, Kyle Williams, Roland Wolf, Huddy. I mean, there's so many amazing stories of successful students that Tim has taught. I was able to watch these guys become successful from behind the scenes. And, basically, my story is I started out as an employee of Tim, and I didn't know anything about trading. I didn't even know what time the market opened. And basically what happened was I started watching all these 20-year-old kids making all this money. And at the time I was 45 years old, and that's why I say kids. I was watching these young kids making, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 grand, 100 grand, multiple, then into the millions. And it's just crazy. I was able to meet them in person. I got to watch their whole process, right? And so I was really, really excited to learn how to trade, because I've spent my whole life trying to find a way to make money a lot quicker, a lot easier, a lot safer. And, I saw trading as a really good vehicle to make a lot of money pretty quickly from anywhere in the world. I've tried everything from commercial fishing in Alaska, real estate investing, network marketing, restaurants. I even owned a food truck. But all those things required a lot of time, a lot of hassle, startup costs, dealing with dangerous work environments, equipment, employees, which are honestly the worst, overhead, all that kind of stuff. And what really appealed to me about trading was you could do it from anywhere in the world, right? And I'm sure that's why a lot of you are here tonight, is because you're kind of drawn to the same thing. The idea of being able to trade from any location with a laptop and just you in the stock market, that's probably pretty appealing to you. It certainly was to me. So I actually tried to learn on my own. I figured, hey, I'm surrounded by all these traders, kind of like someone's comment, you tried to follow one of Tim's picks and it didn't turn out that great. Well, if you don't know how to trade and you're just blindly following picks, it doesn't work that great. I tried that approach. I tried to, kind of mimic what they were doing, but, after failing a couple years at it and wasting time, at the age of 47, in the beginning of 2020, I finally decided, you know what, if I want to get the same results as these kids are getting, I'm going to have to go through the same process that they did. So off I went. In 2020, I had $9,000 in my E-Trade account, and I started studying like crazy. I followed Tim's system. I was on all the live trading sessions. I traded with his team every day. I followed along. I studied. I learned. I practiced. And 15 months later, sure enough, it worked for me too. I showed up on Tim's doorstep with $1.3 million in my trading account. So became Tim's next millionaire trader and surprised the heck out of him, right? Tim recently surprised me. He built a school in Bali and named it after me. School number 117 in Bali is called the Glenn Peters School. So it's really, really cool. I'm super proud of that. And I really, really just, love working with Tim. And, a lot of you are probably asking, why are you wasting my time? Matthew said I'm young. A lot of you are probably asking, why are you wasting my time telling you this story? Well, let me tell you, my journey has given me a ton of insight. I've been able to watch Tim take so many people from scratch, teach them everything he knows, and help them become just as successful as him and some even more, right? And I went through the same process myself, so I know it better than anybody else. And I want to share that process with you today. Tim and I want to help each and every one of you start your journey. We're going to help every single one of you on this webinar tonight. We're going to help you get started from wherever you are and just take that next step, that whatever works, whatever makes the most sense for you. Take that next step to help you become a better trader. So that's what I'm doing now. I continue to help Tim create successful traders. We have 36 millionaires right now. I want 50. So does Tim. I talked to Tim last week. He's like, yeah, hey, there's a bunch of guys that are halfway to $1 million or, multiple six figures that we really feel like we can get them over the $1 million mark in the next year or two. I really think we'll have 50 millionaires, by 2025, so, that's our goal. That's what we're doing. We're going to continue to build our team. Anyway, today, though, I want to leave every one of you here with some really good information to help you become better traders, teach you a little something to help you be better traders, get a better advantage in the market. So here's the plan, you guys, for the next 50 minutes. Number one, I'm going to show you exactly what we do, why we do it, how we do it, where we find the stocks, how we find them, why we trade them. I'm going to show you how to get the advantage in the market. I'm going to show you how to avoid common mistakes that most beginners make. And then obviously you guys will all have an opportunity to work with our team, and we can work with every one of you is the great news. Some of you are going to start out slow and some of you are going to work with Tim, or somewhere in between, but we can help every one of you. And then if you want to stick around to the very end of the webinar, I'm going to go through some trades from Friday, really explain the whole process of the trade, answer questions, and just, help you out as much as possible. So, so now I know some of you have followed Tim for a while. You're probably, maybe you're tired of sitting on the sidelines like I was. Maybe you're tired of wasting time. So at any point during the webinar, if you're serious about working with Tim and his team, I'm going to drop this link now just to kind of give you guys a jump start on this, because we're going to be doing all next week. We're doing strategy sessions. So there's a link in chat where you can actually talk to one of Tim's team members personally one-on-one, and they can kind of put a plan together to kind of help you figure out what your next step is in trading. And I said, I'm going to be very honest here. We can work with every one of you. We will help every one of you. If you just started yesterday and you're starting with a super small account, we'll still help you. Don't worry about it. Okay. But we'll figure out what will work for you. No matter what, we'll work with you. And, I'll talk later on more about the process of how we create millionaires as well. So anyway, I'm going to move on now. So the millionaire formula, what we do, we trade small cap stocks. Okay. So if you're new to us, we trade small cap stocks. And the reason why, and not so much OTC anymore. It's been interesting. When I first started trading, I traded a lot more OTC, but we're trading a lot more NASDAQ now. But we do focus on stocks that are 10 cents to $10 on average. And we're looking for a 10% to 30% profit per trade. Now, sometimes it's more. Sometimes it's 40, 50, 60%. Lately there's been trades that ran 100, 200%. But, typically, typical day, we're looking for a 10 to 30% return in a very short amount of time. Get in, get out, lock our profits in, and move on. Now, the reason we trade small cap stocks, and I'm going to give you guys a fair warning. Basically, when you talk to your friends, you talk to your family, you tell them, and this happens to be all the time. People ask me, what do you do? I'm a day trader. Oh, are you trading Google or Facebook or Apple or Tesla or Twitter? And I'm like, no, I don't trade any of those, And really the reason why is because, most of our students start out with a $2,000 or $3,000 account. Okay. Matthew is saying he's starting out with $1,000. So, and that's fine. A lot of our students start with $2,000 or $3,000. So let's just say hypothetically you started with $2,000 at the beginning of this year, and you wanted to trade Google because that's just the coolest stock in the world, right? So you buy 15 shares of Google stock at $138 a piece. You would have maxed out your account, and then you would have waited to the end of the month. It would have went up to about $156, and you would have sold those 15 shares, making $18 per profit per share for a whopping $270 for the month. Okay, that's not what we do. So we do not do that. We want to show you how to take that same $2,000 and make that in a single trade or more. Okay, so we trade small cap stocks because they move and they're predictable, and we can get an advantage in the market, and you can be a bigger fish in a smaller pond if you just take the time to study and really understand how to get the advantage in the market. So now another reason small cap stocks are a really good time to learn these right now. The small cap market is roaring. It just took off. We all the end of last year, we've all been saying 2024 is going to be a huge year. The small cap market's going to soar, and it already is. I mean, we've seen huge runners like Holo, BMR, so many different runners that ran 100, 200, 300%, So a lot of, NASDAQ is saying that small cap is going to probably soar more than likely. The Russell 2000 will rebound by 28% after being down 11% in 2023. Earnings are coming out this month, which is just going to drive it even more. And it's an election year. Since 1953, every election year has pushed the market, very bullish. You can see here, it's been up at least 20% or more on an election year. So, everything is primed and set to go for small cap stocks, and we want to help you get ready. So, we keep things pretty simple here. We teach you how to buy and sell first. We keep it simple. We want to teach you something you can start doing right away. We don't want to spend years training you on all these different things and finally getting you trading. We want you learning and implementing what we teach you right away. So when we first start out with us, we're going to show you how to buy and sell. And we're going to show you how to start locking in profits. After that, we'll talk about shorting. And then down the road, if you want to, we have a few guys that trade options, but we'd like to keep things simple. We like to focus on setups that give us the best advantage. We want to teach you how to follow rules to get the advantage. We want to show you how to lock in profits and when, how to know when to do that, how to keep your losses small. And these are such important things. I'll talk about this later on in the webinar, but we want to make sure this works for you too. So do you want to be a part-time trader? This strategy is great. We have students that trade an hour in the morning. We have students that trade 1 day a week, and that's okay. And if you start out part-time, this is a great strategy for that. You don't have to trade every day. Full-time traders, yes. We have students that have replaced their jobs, and they don't even trade full-time. They're trading a few hours a day, but they're making a full-time income from it. Beginner traders, absolutely. This isn't super complicated. I mean, I don't want to make it sound easy, but we're not, you don't have to learn, you don't have to learn you have to learn some technical analysis and fundamental analysis, but we're not going to get into moving MACD averages and all these Bollinger Bands and all these different things. We just use simple chart patterns. We do, like a lot of us use VWAP, which I'll show you guys later, but simple support and resistance to really know how to get in and out of these trades, which I'll explain a bit later. Veteran traders think that Tim's strategy is a breath of fresh air because of its simplicity and the ability to repeat it over and over and over again. And then small accounts, absolutely. Most of our students start with $1,000, $2,000, or $3,000, and even, some even under that. So that's totally good for beginners. But this is why we trade small cap stocks, guys. This just a few trades from over the last week or so. MARK, 59% runner. TSVT, 45% runner. This is all within the day, you guys. 97% on ATRA. HOLO, 359% from Tim's Alert. So these stocks move, and if you know how to get a piece of the action, and even a small piece of the action, you can really, really, really make some serious money doing this. You just got to take the time to learn. So, all right, let's kind of get into, really talking about how to get the advantage in the market. There's 19,000 stocks on the market, right? I mean, how do you know which ones to watch? I'm going to show you guys how to find these stocks. Now, I'm going to show you later how you can use a simple scanner setup to find these stocks. We use algorithmic software. We use AI software, but there's also kind of a pre-flight checklist you want to go through before you get into an actual trade. So if you guys take notes right now, take some notes on what I'm going to tell you. We're going to go through some stuff, and then at the end of the webinar, I'm going to show you actual trades, and we're going to actually apply what I teach you to these actual trades from Friday morning, so you can really see how this works, So, and hopefully on Tuesday, you can actually go out there and find some stocks and really start practicing this stuff. So, so the acronym PREPARE, this is kind of what kind of sums up Tim's strategy. You really want to make sure that every stock you're trading has all these components. All right. You want to make sure, number one, that you're trading a pattern in price that is going to work. Okay. We're going to teach you a lot of different patterns. We teach our students, everything from the gap and crap to the dip and rip, first green day, first red day, breakouts, panic dip buys, on and on and on. So there's lots of different setups you can learn. And it really comes down to, a lot of it comes down to like, what time of day are you trading? What's your account size? Because that will have a lot to do with the patterns you want to trade and the price point you want to trade, right? So if you want to go through a strategy session, we can start helping you figure out like what setups you should be focusing on, what price point to go after. I like to focus on, I'm going to show you guys a gap and crap pattern from Friday, and why I love them and why they work well for me. And I like to focus on stocks that are anywhere from 10 cents to $5. That's where I like to play. And how I know that and how our students figure this out is we teach them all the patterns. We trade those patterns with them over and over, hundreds of times over. They practice, they keep track of what they're trading, and then they figure out, okay, well, hey, it looks like I'm really good at this pattern because I've won this pattern more than any other. So that's why it's important to track your trades and really figure out really what's working for you. So make sure you're trading the right pattern and the right price that will work for you. Secondly, risk reward. You want to make sure that you have reward in your favor. And that's another reason I like the gap and crap pattern, because, the gap and crap, pre-market gap and crap is basically a stock that gaps up pre-market, pulls back before the market opens, and then it bounces off of a pre-market support level and runs up above the support level and breaks through resistance. Then you have reward in your favor, as opposed to, getting into a stock way too late. If you've ever gotten into a stock when it's already up 60 or 70%, and right when you got in, it came crashing down. Well, that's because reward wasn't in your favor. It was too risky at the time you were getting in, because guess what? People take profits. People start taking profits after even 30 or 40 or 50%, not to mention short sellers come in, and then people start panic selling. And that's why you see these stocks drop so fast, right? So, I'll show you guys risk reward and how you can learn some basic technical analysis, support, and resistance to make sure that reward is in your favor. Stick around to the very end, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about, and we'll look at some actual charts. E is ease of entry. You want to make sure you have volume. You have to have volume. So many people ask me, what about this trade? I'm like, well, there's no freaking volume. It's not going to go anywhere. Volume is what moves the stocks. Okay. I'll talk a little bit about float later on, but volume is really what moves stocks. And it also allows you to easily get in and out of trades. Now, when you're trading small, you can easily get in and out of most stocks, right? But when you start trading bigger, you're going to want to make sure you have plenty of volume to get in and out of that trade easily. You want to make sure you have good price action. You don't want spreads between the bid and the ask and a choppy chart. You want a nice, clean chart, as clean as possible. Past performance, history of spiking. We like to look for multi-day runners. We like to look for, stocks that are, have that past performance, that history of spiking, because guess what? If a lot of traders will trade the same stocks over and over and over again. So if you have a stock that's running, especially like a multi-day, and it runs again, guess what? A lot of those same people will jump into that trade over and over and over again, which kind of keeps that stock moving. That's kind of why you get multi-day runners, because people keep on playing it, So A is for availability. You only want to trade the setups you're available for. Like I said, if you want to go through a strategy session, we can kind of help you figure out, based on your schedule, like what setups to look for. If you're trading the morning, what morning setups are there? If you're trading later in the day, what setups to look for then? But the main thing is, got to be available. Don't try to trade it. Don't try to get into a trade in the morning, run off to work and check back at lunch. It could be a nightmare. Don't do that. Make sure you're available for the setups that you're trading. R is reason for catalyst. You really need to understand, the news, SEC filings, earnings reports, stuff like that. What, different catalysts are going to move stocks. Like one example, like when I was new to trading, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get into this trade and the news is going to come out and it's going to take off like crazy. And then, then like the news would come out and then it wouldn't go anywhere. And what I learned over time is like, oh, it's the anticipation of the news sometimes that really pushes the stock. And then when the news comes out and there isn't any news that we weren't expecting, people just take profits and get out, right? So, you have to really understand these catalysts and how far they're going to move the stock, and really how to gauge that and know where to get in, know where to get out, know when not to get in sometimes too. So environment, market sector, just because the market's bearish doesn't mean anything. This is another reason we like small cap stocks, is because small cap stocks are not generally affected by the overall market. The market can be really, really bearish, but biotech stocks or tech stocks or healthcare stocks could be running hard, and you also want to be aware of, sometimes you get sympathy plays where a similar stock within the same sector could run in parallel with another stock. So, it gets kind of interesting, but you got to really pay attention to what sector the stocks are in, what's going on in that sector, and, really just be aware of all that and how it affects specific stocks. So that's the prepare, and we teach our students how to go through and quickly check all the boxes and make sure. It's really how you can take 10 or 20 stocks and narrow it down to 2 or 3 that you can actually focus on and trade, because you can't trade 20 stocks at once. You want to focus on 1, 2, or 3 stocks that are going to give you your best shot. The stock that has the best pattern in price for you. The stock that has the most reward in, the stock that has, sometimes the most volume, or previous spikers. So when you go down and check these boxes, we teach you how to rate the stocks so that which ones are going to give you your best shot at it. Okay. I'm going to answer questions and then I'm going to go over beginner mistakes. We had some comments early on. All right, let me just make sure. I guess just a bunch of comments. All right, never mind. So we'll keep going. Oh, what is the minimum? Okay. Oh, thank you, Jeff. I forgot to say that. What is the minimum volume you look for? I like to see 1 to 2 million in volume before I get into the stock. I typically want to see 1 to 2 million pre-market. And then, I want that stock to be on track for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 million on the day. Okay. So, when the volume dries up, the stock, it really slows the stocks down. It makes all the difference in the world. So, all right, beginner mistakes. Like I said, you guys, I tried trading on my own. I tried to take shortcuts. I've done a lot of strategy sessions with a lot of people. I've talked to thousands of beginners that have tried this on their own. And this is my list of newbie mistakes. All right. So number one, you don't know what you don't know. You've never traded before. How would you possibly know everything you're supposed to know? When I first started trading, I didn't know that I had to know about a scanner. What the hell is a scanner? What's level 2 quotes? SEC filings. I don't even know how to read one. Like, do I need to know that? Yeah, probably it would help. I mean, not necessarily, but you definitely need to know chart patterns. You definitely need to know, support, resistance, basic technical analysis. I didn't know I had to know that. I just kind of started trading, right? So I think a lot of beginners, there's a bunch of missing pieces you're completely unaware of, and you go out there and you start trading, but you don't even know what you're supposed to be studying. So there's too many missing pieces, and there's no way for you to really be successful. You're kind of going in with a huge disadvantage. I think a lot of this leads to number 2, premature trading, rushing in too soon. A lot of people just they just start trading. They think, okay, well, I'm going to get on this Discord room, or I'm going to get this list. I'm going to get this watch list from this guy, or I'm going to, pick up trades off of Twitter, and they just start trading. But again, there's a bunch of missing pieces. So, you're at a huge disadvantage, right? The benefit, we actually get our students trading really quickly, but we trade live with them. We hold their hands. We have a safety net there. We walk them through it real time, but if you're trading on your own, I would highly, highly recommend paper trading first, which is just trading, just pretend trading with fake money. And if you do that, make sure that you paper trade with the amount of money you're really going to start trading with. I see people make the mistake where they'll get on a simulator, like a trading simulator. They'll trade with like 30,000 on paper, and then they'll do okay. And then they think they're ready, and then they come back and trade with $1,000. And it's like, no. And then all of a sudden, like, why am I losing? It's not working the same, because $30,000 fake money is a heck of a lot different than, $1,000 in real money, and actually having to trade and dealing with trade executions and understanding, getting in and out of the trade for real, So number 3, flying blind, no system in place. A lot of people just kind of go out there and try to find a handful of stocks, and you really don't want to do that. You want to follow a proven system that's going to work for you. Okay. I think, you really have to, and one thing we can help you, if you at least want to go through a strategy session, we can at least help you figure out, should I even be day trading? Should I maybe do swing trading? Should I try Tim's weekend trading? Should I, you know what I mean? I think you really need to figure out, based on your schedule, your account size, your experience, you really want to make sure you're focusing on a system that works well for you, and focus on one system at a time. Don't try to learn like 5 different things. Don't try to learn crypto and, options and day trading and swing trading all at the same time. Focus on one that's really going to work for you, and then expand from there. Number 4, tool-less trading. Tools. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a list of bare minimum tools. All right. Number 1, most important, live data. If you don't have live data, then you are 20 minutes behind the market. Okay. So if you don't know if you have live data, you probably don't. If you're not paying for live data through a broker, you probably don't have it. Okay. Some brokers give it away for free if you have enough money in the account. I know TD Ameritrade does that, but most brokers, you have to pay for data. So you want to have live data. You want to have live charts. I really believe you need level 2 quotes. It's super helpful, and you need a scanner. Those are like the top 3 must-have tools. I'm not going to talk about, we also have algorithmic software. There's also AI software and other things. There's also, we'll talk a little bit about indicators. But yeah, those are the kind of the 3 things you really, really, really want to make sure you have. So, but if you're not aware of the tools out there, you're not using the tools, or don't know how to use the tools, you're at a huge disadvantage, right? Because all of the rest of us are. So you're going out there, it's, you're trying to build a house with a rock instead of a hammer. Okay. So that's the difference. We're using an air compressor hammer over here, but if you got to be aware of what tools are out there and how to use them and how they give you the advantage. Number 5, no risk management. What this means is simply going into a trade, not understanding how to manage risk, like just getting into the trade and then taking profits whenever you feel like it or whenever you think you've made enough money. That doesn't work. I think a really, really good trading plan for a beginner would be taking profit at 10%. Just get the hell out and don't worry about it. What if it keeps going up, Glenn? Who cares? I'm telling you right now, just believe me. I had the same problem. I would get in, I would make, I would make 10%. I wouldn't lock it in because I thought I could make more. And I would just end up losing the 10% back and sometimes even more. So I think when you first start, just take 10%, get the heck out. If you take, you hit 3% on the loss size, get the hell out, and once you get good at that, then you can start scaling up. I'm up to kind of my trading plan. I'm like 20% profit, 5% loss now. That's kind of what I go after, but sometimes when I hit 10%, I get out too, if I don't think it's going to keep running. So anyway, because if you don't have a trading plan and you don't know how to manage risk, it leads to gambling. It's kind of like if you're playing blackjack, do you want to just play off your gut feeling? Do you want to just get hot tips from other players at the table and just go for it? Or do you want to learn how to count cards? Do you want to learn how to count cards and get the advantage? Heck yeah, you do. And that's kind of the same with trading. We're going to teach you how to identify when the odds are in your favor. We're going to teach you how to trade only when the odds are in your favor, and when the odds are not in your favor, we're going to teach you how to stay the heck out, And so that's really what it's all about. Because if you're not managing risk, if you don't have rules, if you don't have guidelines to follow, if you don't have some kind of system to follow, you're basically gambling. And then last, mistakes in the mirror. When you're trading on your own, it's at a disadvantage. You're at a disadvantage because there's no one there to tell you what you did wrong, And I've talked to people that have traded on their own for years and I just can't figure this stuff out. Every time I get in, it goes down. Every time I get out, it goes up. I win a few, I lose it all back, and it's because they don't have someone there telling them, what they're doing wrong, what the fix, kind of what I said in the beginning. If you go into trading and you don't know what you don't know, and you don't have any risk management, you don't have any kind of plan, you're not trading a proven system, and no one's there to tell you what you're doing right and wrong, you're going to have a really freaking hard time. I certainly did. I made all these mistakes. After doing everything wrong, it was obvious that my plan wasn't working for me, and I wanted help. I was so sick of not figuring it out. I finally gave in, and that's when I decided to start working with Tim's team and actually follow a plan that would work. That's when I started to learn how to manage risk. I finally started winning, and more importantly, I became self-sufficient. That's huge. You want to get to the point where you're building your own watch list, you're putting your own trading plans together, when to get in, when to get out. It's just so much better. I'm going to stop right now for more questions. Okay. Daniel, I'll reach back out to you again. Okay. Some more comments. Okay. Okay. A lot of comments. Sorry, guys. What scanner do you use? Stocks to Trade? Yes, Patrick, I use Stocks to Trade scanner. I will run through the scanner at the end of the webinar when we go through trades. Matthew asks, how do you know when the company is real and ready to show its potential reward its investors opposite of or just selling on the news? Matthew, don't fall in love with these companies. We're not investing. We're looking for windows of opportunity where we can get in and get out and take a profit and move on. It honestly doesn't matter. Sometimes I want to fall in love with some of these companies, but I learned my lesson not to, So John asked the scanner, what is that? I'll show you guys the scanner when we look at trades. But I have a question for you guys. What if you had a team to trade with every day? What if you could trade with Tim Sykes and Jack Kellogg and Matt Monaco and Ellis Hobbs, like all these former students we talked about? What if you could trade with Tim and his team every single day? If you had a team of experts every second of the trading day right there telling you what to do, what not to do, giving you feedback, what would that change for you? what would that change with your trading? Well, I'll tell you, you'll know what you need to know, because Tim will tell you exactly what you need to know, how to study it, what to study, and you'll start filling in all the missing pieces. You'll know exactly what to study. You'll know exactly what you need to know, and it's going to make you a better trader. You're going to start trading with more confidence because you're going to have a team holding your hand every single step of the way. You're going to learn to follow a proven system with a plan that will actually work for you. You'll have all the tools you need. We'll look at some of those at the end of the webinar, but more importantly, you're going to know how to use these tools because we're going to teach you. You'll learn how to manage risk because we're going to practice trade after trade after trade until you can do this on your own and become self-sufficient, which will give you the ultimate advantage. And along the way, you're going to have the feedback, support, and the community around you to help you be successful. This is how we create millionaire traders. This is exact formula that they all went through. Okay. They followed a plan. They studied a curriculum. They traded together every single day until they could do it on their own, So if you're ready for a plan that will actually work for you, you can keep on doing what you're doing now. That's great. We don't want to talk anyone into this, anyone into anything. Or you can leverage yourself with a proven team with a proven track record that's been creating successful traders for well over a decade and give you a plan that will work for you. So now I'm going to be very clear. We can work with every single one of you. Okay. And let me explain that. Some of you are going to have to start out slow. I recognize some people. Jody's on here. I don't see Jeff tonight, but I'm working with some students. I just gave them some stuff to work on, right? They're not ready to trade with Tim and his team yet, but I'm helping them work their way up to it. Okay. But some of you are going to be ready to work with Tim right away. Some of you are going to have to work on it, but we can work with every single one of you. So this strategy session is exactly the same exact strategy session that Matt Monaco went through, Jack Kellogg, Kyle Williams, Roland Wolf, all these guys went through a strategy session and they got a plan that would work for them, So, what is a strategy session? It's a one-on-one conversation. It's super casual. We just get on the phone with you. We find out how long you've been trading. We figure out how much time you have to put into this. We figure out what your goals are. And then we put a plan together that makes the most sense for you. Okay. So some of you will start out small. You have to kind of work on a few things, kind of work your way up. Some of you will be able to work with Tim right away and we'll fast track your success. But one thing I can tell you is we won't give you a plan that will not work for you. Okay. We will only give you a plan that makes the most sense for you. So we just want to find out what your why is. So we are going to get a little personal. We want to find out why you want to learn how to trade. Do you want to retire early, maybe increase your retirement, travel more, provide for your family, give back to a charity, start a charity, teach your kids, maybe teach your grandkids how to trade, more freedom, all of the above, many, many more things. And then we're going to find out when you want to accomplish that by. And then we just need to make sure that you guys are serious, because I tell you what, I wasn't serious. 2018, 2019, I wanted hot picks. I wanted just to take shortcuts and figure it out on my own. And it wasn't until 2020 until I was committed to success. I was ready for a mentor. I wasn't ready for a mentor in 2018 because I was, whatever. I wanted to take the fast track shortcut there. And I finally realized that wasn't the way to go. And I became committed in 2020. And that's really when it worked. You have to be committed to this, and then, we'll figure out what your next step is. Some of you, I'll test the waters with a lot of you. Some of you aren't ready. Some of you just found us this week or something. You're like, who are these guys? They have all these millionaires, so they say. And, if you want to get some information and try us out, you can test the waters and it won't be long. You'll be dying to work with us. Part-time traders, come on in. Maybe you just need some help with tools and support. Maybe you just need some hand-holding. Maybe you want the support of a team. And then some of you are here tonight because you're going to be Tim's next millionaire trader. Okay. And so we'll help you from wherever you're at in that process. And we'll kind of, just walk you through everything. So just real quick, if you click on this link, I've been dropping in chat. If you don't see it for some reason, I can send it to you privately. Sometime that works, but hopefully you guys can all see that. Just put in your email, your phone number. This is all confidential information. We'll just reach out to you one-on-one. Please answer these questions honestly. We need to find out how much time you have. Are you full-time? If you're working 9 to 5, we're going to kind of have to get creative and find, kind of figure out the best strategy for you. If you have a couple of days off a week, or if you're fully retired, obviously you're going to be able to do a lot more. And then how much are you going to start trading with? Less than 1,000, more than 10,000. And it's really we're gonna start building your plan immediately. So by the time we get on the phone with you, we'll have a good idea of where you should start. And then please be honest with this. If things are rough financially right now, we might tell you, hey, look, you don't start trading. We're going to paper trade with you. Let's practice. Let us send you some stuff to work on. You can study. You can email me if you have questions, but let's just start there, because we're not going to put anybody at financial risk. Okay. If things are okay, we can green light this thing and we can get moving, but please be honest with these questions, because it'll make a big difference on where we start with you. And same with this, it's not a big deal if you're brand new, but we don't want to cut corners either, so we want to make sure we don't skip anything and take you through the whole process. First name, last name, pick a day, pick a time, and we will go through the exact process we've gone through with every one of our millionaires. Matt Monaco, he wanted to retire. We're like, what's your why, Matt? I want to retire. How old are you? I'm 24. I'm tired of working. I've been working for 2 years. Poor kid, and so we put a plan together for him, and he's a full-time trader now. He hasn't worked since. He trades, and he actually helps teach too, which is really awesome. Jack Kellogg, hey man, I'm tired of working. I don't want to work for anybody anymore. I want to travel the world. I want more money. He has that. 2 years, 8 million, now over 12 million. Jack teaches once a week, and he's in the chat room helping out every day. Kyle Williams, I don't want to work after college. All right, don't. Now he's a full-time trader. He doesn't work after college. So we just want to find out what you want. We want to put together a plan like we have for these guys, and then just help you accomplish that. Ellis Hobbs, former NFL football player, got injured. We're helping him replace his football income. He's at about $500,000 in profits, so helping him get that all sorted out. He's an awesome guy. You'll get to work with him, actually. He's in the chat room every day, and he's going to be able to help you out. So Tim creates successful trader after successful trader. I'm not going to go through all of them. We just had 2 brand new millionaires in the last couple months. There's story after story after story. So we're not going to call anybody, guys. You need to schedule a time. We are way too busy just to call people tonight. Not going to happen. Daniel, I'll reach out to you. If you don't see this link, let me know, but I'm dropping it to some of you guys privately. But, we want to make sure you guys are ready for the 2024 profit window that's already kicking off. There's been so many amazing trades already in the last couple months. We don't want you looking like this, okay? We don't want you at the starting line learning how to, or trading on your own, looking like this. We want you to look like this. We want to work with you, train you over and over and over again, teach you what to do, what not to do, give you all the tools, show you how to use them, and then you will become self-sufficient where you can do this on your own. We have a process to get there faster and safer, and it's by working with a team. So if you want to be a loner, you can do that, but we work together, okay? Everyone helps each other. Every single one of us help each other become a better trader, all right? So we have a system, and we use a team. We trade live every single day so that we help each other get better and better and better, So teamwork makes the dream work. I almost missed out on a huge profit window in 2020. I would have missed out on $1.3 million if I wouldn't have decided to actually, get things going, So I'm not selling anything. You guys, it doesn't, I'm not, you have to understand that some of you might start really, really, really small with us. Some of you might start working with Tim right away, but the best thing to do is go through a strategy session and, figure out where you fit in, if you fit in. We'll give you a plan. If you don't like our plan, tell us to kick rocks, hang up the phone. It's totally fine, okay? We don't want to work with you unless you want to work with us. And then, if you want to work with us, we'd love to work with you, but we're not going to talk you into it. We're not going to try to get you something that you can't do. That doesn't make sense for you. That's why we do these one-on-one strategy sessions. We're not going to try to just, it's not a cookie cutter approach. There's not like a fix-all program for everybody. It's really about mentorship and starting in the right place. We have a lot of mentors. They're all former challenge students, and you might work with different mentors based on your situation, So Carol's brand new to the call. Carol, if you want to learn how to trade, if you want to trade with us, if you want to trade with a team every single day, we'd love to have you go through a strategy session. We'll see where you fit in. If you don't do it this year, you'll be 1 year older when you do. You know, I love Warren Miller ski films, and this has always stuck with me. And in 2020, I decided, you know what? I don't want to wait another year. I don't want to be another year older. I was 47. My goal was to hit 1 million by 50. I hit it by, right before I was 49. So, but yeah, so if you want to wait 5 years, go ahead. If you want to wait 10 years, go ahead. But if you want to start now, let's go. Carol, I just, you have to go through a few questions, and the calendar will pop up at the very end. There's just a few questions you have to go to. I'm sharing the link. I'll reply privately with some of you guys. I want to go through some trades still, so stick around, you guys. We still have, about 15 minutes. So let's go over the rules. Okay, cool. Yeah, Carol, we're pretty laid back. Carol said, I like what I'm hearing. Very comfortable. Yeah. So if you guys are late to the webinar, I started working for Tim, and I was just running operations for him. I saw tons of people become successful with his mentorship. And then I decided to secretly make $1 million without Tim knowing about it. And I actually was able to do that. I started with $9,000 in 2020, and basically just wanted to prove that I could do it. And yeah, I made $1.3 million in about 15 months. And now I'm helping Tim create more successful students. So yeah, we are very chill here. We're very laid back. We only want you to do something that really makes sense for you. So, all right. So trading rules to remember. So again, hopefully you took notes on the last section. This is important too. Number one, don't predict what's going to happen, but react to what's happening. What does that mean? I'm going to kind of slow down here a little bit. So, a lot of people think, for example, hey, there's news coming out. This stock is going to skyrocket. I'm going to get in now before it takes off and make sure I make all the money I possibly can. So that's predicting what's going to happen. Because X happened, you're predicting the stock is going to skyrocket, so you get into the trade. You don't want to do that. You want to jump into a trade that's already moving. You want to react to something that's already going. You don't want to jump on, this is a stupid analogy, but I'm going to share it anyway. If you're at a train station and you're a hobo jumping cars, jumping on the trains, you don't get onto a train that's not moving, because how do you know where the hell, you don't even know if you jump onto a train that's not going anywhere. How do you don't want to do that. You don't know where it's going to go. Maybe you don't know where it's going. You want to jump on a train that's already moving and you have a good idea of where it's going. So that's kind of what I think about trading. You want to jump onto a trade that's already moving and you have a good idea where it's going. And then you use technical analysis to really determine, if you have reward in your favor or not. Number two, you don't need to be the first one into the trade. Calm down. Have some patience. Beginners just get way too antsy. They jump into, they think they're going to miss out. So they jump into a trade too soon, and then they end up just taking a nasty loss. Okay. You got to make the trade prove itself. You want to play the middle of the trade. I'll show you guys what I mean here in a minute. This will all make sense. I promise. If you don't know where to exit, just take 10% and don't look back. If you get into a trade and you don't know what's going on, and you have 10% profit, you're crazy not to take it. Just get out of that thing and don't look back. And then learn to get the advantage as a trader. That's just going to take some time. That takes time and practice, to really get to the point where you can build your own watch list, put your own trading plans together, and, be able to, do this on your own over and over and over again, and then last, learn the tools and the systems to become self-sufficient. Get to the point where you can do this on your own. All right. How much did you start with? I started with $9,000, and 15 months later, I had 1.3 million. So I know a lot of people think, and I don't blame you, a lot of people think, oh, you have 36 millionaires. They probably all started with, $250,000 and turned into $1 million. That's not the case. Most of our students started with 2, 3, 4, 5,000. I happen to start with 9. Most of them started with under 5. So and some even less. So let's look at some actual trades. Let's see. So this is stocks to trade, guys. We're going to look at AMBO, APLT, and PHAT from Friday. Now, I'll just kind of run through this real quick. This is a scanner. So let me be clear. I'm going to slow way down now because I know there's a lot of beginners on here. This is Thursday after market. Okay. This thing broke out after market. It ran pretty hard. It ran from like 16 cents to like 67 cents. All right. This is pre-market Friday morning, and this is after market. This is open market Friday. Excuse me. So, this thing did run Thursday night. I'm not going to look at that though. I'm going to look at this. So this is just focus on pre-market. I check the market about an hour before the market opens on any day. I look for a couple things. So this is a scanner. This is programmed to find stocks that are 1 cent to $10. So that's the price range I look for. I'm looking for $1 million in traded volume or more. And I'm looking for percent gainers, 5% or more. I just kind of look for 5% or more. So then, this gives you, as you can see, it gives you like 15 stocks, sometimes more, but, now we want to narrow it down. We want to use that PREPARE acronym to make sure that we're focusing on stocks that are going to give us the best advantage. So what do I notice? So on AMBO, I notice, okay, the stock opened at 30 cents. Check. It's a gap and crap. Look at this thing ran pre-market, because I'm looking at this thing around 8, let's say 7:30, 8 o'clock Eastern time. More like 8 o'clock Eastern time. I'm kind of looking at this thing and I see that it gapped up because it's on my screener list, because it had volume, because it's a percent runner. But then what I notice is it pulls back, right? It pulls back and it just kind of runs back and forth. But then I'm really waiting for this to happen. I'm waiting for this thing to drop into the market open. Okay. I'm not going to talk about pre-market trading. I don't recommend it for beginners for a lot of reasons, just low volume, choppy charts, and it's a lot trickier. So now, do you want to jump into this trade right here? No. This is what I mean about, don't be the first one into the trade. Okay. You want to play the middle of the trade, which will make sense here in a second. All right. So keep in mind now, you can see you see how there's kind of a support here. You can kind of see, like, if I put my line there, it's kind of bouncing off that line, right? The ball's kind of bouncing along. It doesn't break below this level, right? So that's kind of that's my support, right? Now, once this thing breaks above this pre-market support, now reward is kind of shifting into my favor right now. So I'm thinking, you know what? I can at least start scaling into this trade, or maybe start taking a position, right? So getting in around 35 cents, you can start scaling in. Maybe at least start scaling in, or maybe half your position or a quarter your position you want to go in. But then once it starts breaking above that level, you can start adding to your position there. So this is kind of what I mean about the middle of the trade. So we're not all into this thing, like maybe 38, 39, 40 cents. Then it takes off and it runs up to here. Now, what am I watching for? Now, when you have a strong run up like this, you're inclined to say, oh my gosh, it's going to go to the moon. I'm going to ride this thing to $1 or whatever. But what you want to pay attention to is, where's the resistance here, you guys? So you can see that after market Thursday, this thing, it couldn't make it past 70 cents, right? It couldn't make it past 70. It just bounced off of that. So, and you go to here, it didn't make it past 64. So when this thing's shooting up, I want to get out now, because I'm wondering, like, is it going to break past resistance, or is it going to pull back? So when there's a strong run up like this and there's lots of volume, especially when I get this red candle right here and it runs up one more time, the question is, you're gambling now. And what I mean by that is, you're like, okay, is it going to break through this resistance, or is it going to pull back, right? And so I would just rather get out. So taking profit like 55, 56 cents, guess what? You just locked in a 55% profit doing that. Playing from here to about there, you just locked in 50% on your money in a freaking half an hour, okay? So this is what I mean. You don't have to try to play bottom to top. You don't have to press your luck. Once you learn these patterns, it gaps up, pulls back, get the dip, but you be patient. you wait for it to rise above support, and then you get the hell out before, it comes crashing back down, because if you're going to stay into this thing hoping it breaks through resistance, you're gambling. You're like, okay, here we go. You want to get out. Now, if it pulled back and made another run, you could always get back into the trade, but it's just so important to really understand support, resistance, and how these trades happen. But that was we had the volume, we had all the pieces there. Let's look at a couple of APLT. This is just a clear breakout. So, are you getting into the trade back here? No. We're not even watching this trade until we get the volume, because when you get the volume and you get the uptick, that's when it pops on the scanner. That's when you start doing your homework real quick. What sector? It's a biotech stock. Is there any recent news? This is why I love stock trading, guys. You can see what sector it's in. You can see if there's news. Any recent SEC filings? What's going on? I can look at my level 2 quotes right here. Okay, quick. What's the float? 62 million. What's the volumes? Average 60-day volume is 1.6 million. Already got, it's already got 2 million here. So, hey, something's going on. And then you can make a quick decision. This thing's way above any support levels, resistance. So I'm jumping in at like 450. And then it runs up again. Now, when I see some sideways action like this right here and another run up, again, you're inclined to stay in the damn trade. And like, it's going to the moon, baby. We're going to be millionaires. But this happens more often than not. So when you have some sideways action and another run up, that's your cue to exit, and you would have been able to grab a 22% profit there in like whatever. And again, another half an hour. So this is what we do every single day. PHAT, this one took time. This is a great beginner trade. These can be, honestly, these take time. They can be tough because, they move quick. You got to be fast. But like stocks like this, I mean, by the time you get some volume and it really pick up on this thing, I mean, you could have got in anywhere in the 815, 820, and then it nicely walks up, then it runs up. And again, you get a little bit of sideways action, a strong run up. Oh, I'm out, baby. I'm out at, I'm out at $10, locking in 25% profit, So, but, again, that was a biotech stock as well. It did gap up on Thursday. It just broke out above all support levels. Again, it had all the components we wanted. We didn't predict what was going to happen, but we were simply just reacting to what happened. We played the middle of the trade. We didn't get greedy, and you can lock in a 25% profits. This is what we do, guys. So let me see if we have some questions. Oh, okay, cool. All right. I was crazy sitting on a 15% profit. Yeah, lock it in, man. I mean, I'm telling you, I know, guys, it sucks. It sucks. I mean, I don't know. You just got to get used to it. I mean, trading's a game, man. It's psychology. You got to get used to. You're gonna take 15% sometimes, Matthew, and the stock's gonna run 40% more. You're like, oh my gosh, I just missed out on 40% profit, but you didn't. You did it, Matt. You made 15%. So I just that's one thing. Don't ever worry about the money you missed out on, because there's no way you're going to catch all of this. Like there's no way you're going to get in here and get out here every time. It's never going to happen. You're only going to catch the middle. It's the safest place to trade anyway, and one of my other rules I need to add to my list is, don't lose money chasing money, just play the middle where it's safe. Grab that 20, 30, 40, 50%, you didn't miss out. I mean, you didn't lose anything. If you made money, you didn't lose anything. Okay. And you're never going to lock in all the profits. It's impossible. Can anyone day trade? Yeah, absolutely. Anyone can day trade. Mike, I'm going to drop this link to you. If you guys don't have the link to get your strategy session set up, let me know. And I've dropped it several times. It's on the very top of chat as well. How many trades did you take when you first start out? I would only do one at a time. And I don't know. I mean, depending on the day, sometimes I would trade 1, 2, 3 times a day. It just depends. Matthew said, I never made more than 35% of trade. That's okay. That's okay. I didn't either at first. You want to start small and lock them in, and then you'll get better anyway. Can I talk about HOLO market predictions? Oh, let's see. I mean, I don't know, man. This thing, it's so high. Look, let's go back to, let's look at 15 days, because I mean, you have to understand, this thing went from what? Basically $2 to $98. Back right now at the end of the market, after market Friday, it was at $50. So I don't know, man. A lot of me says I think it might be overextended now. I would be very careful if you're trading that. But then I say that and it could just keep running. So it's just so hard to tell, you know. Explain PDT. All right, I knew someone was going to ask that. All right, we're going to go late tonight. That's okay. So, all right, you guys want to stick around? We can stick around. It's fine. Pattern day trading rule. Let's talk about it, okay? Number one, it is a blessing in disguise, and every one of us will tell you that. You know, when I first started trading, I would just do 3-day trades a week, a couple overnighters, and maybe a handful of swing trades a week. And I built my account from 9,000, got it over 25. And, you know, and then once I was able to do that, then I actually knew what I was doing, and it took off from there, you know. So, but let's talk about the PDT rule. The pattern day trading rule states this: if you have a margin account and have less than $25,000 in your account, you can only make 3-day trades per 5-day trading period. Okay. So if you feel like you need to trade more than that, then I would recommend getting a cash account. Okay. So here's the difference. A margin account, it allows you to use leverage of the broker. I don't recommend using margin anyway. And the only reason you need a margin account is if you want to short stocks. So if you're not going to short stocks and you don't want to like use margin, which is honestly pretty risky anyway, then I would just get a cash account. Now, if you get a cash account, let's just pretend you have $3,000. Now, a cash account will allow you to trade as much as you want. But here's the kicker on this one. If you have a $3,000 account and you make, let's just say hypothetically, you trade all $3,000 of that on Monday, a random Monday, markets close Monday, but just a Monday of any old week. And let's say you make a $3,000 trade and you make $300, and now you have $3,300 in your account. Well, guess what? That money is locked up for 2 days. It's not going to settle to the next third trading day. Most brokers, it won't settle till, if you're trading on Monday, you won't have it back till Thursday. Okay. So that's a downfall of a cash account. But this is what you can do. If you had $3,000 in a cash account, I would only trade $1,000 a day, which makes more sense anyway. So you divide your account into thirds. You trade $1,000 on Monday, $1,000 on Tuesday, $1,000 on Wednesday. So let's say on Monday, you make 2 $500 trades and you make some money. Okay. Then on Tuesday, you make 2 $500 trades. And on Wednesday, you make 2 $500 trades. Well, guess what? Now it's Thursday, and the money you were trading Monday is now back in your account, and you can trade $1,000 on Thursday, $1,000 on Friday, and it just keeps going. So that's what I would recommend. If you feel like you want to trade more and you're trading small anyway, divide your account into thirds and do not trade more than a third of your account a day, and then you'll always have money every single day to trade. So that's one way around it. Or you could have multiple brokers if you want. I think the cash account is like the easiest way to go personally. So okay, Damien, we're going late tonight, guys. We're going overtime. Okay, please differentiate between the taking profits and scaling. Okay, so this is what I mean on scaling. So let's say, what's a good one? No, that's not a good one. Like, this is a great one. Okay, so you're like, you know, you don't know. Well, let me see. I mean, which makes the most sense? Okay, maybe this is a good example. Okay, so you have a dip right here, right? So when I first started learning how to trade, I wanted to go all in. I was like, I'm going to buy 1,000 shares here and sell 1,000 shares here, right? But what I learned is scaling in and even scaling out is way better for risk management. So let's say, for example, like, it starts to dip, it starts to run up, but I don't want to go all in because it could just run up and pull back and drop, right? So if I wanted to buy 5,000 shares of this stock, for example, then I don't have to go all 5,000. Maybe I buy 1,000 here and then it runs up again. Like, okay, this is good. It's crossing support here. Maybe I can buy another 1,000. And then it's like, okay, up here, I'm like, oh, it's holding pretty good. Oh, but hold on, it's dipping down. I'm going to hold off. Then it kind of runs here, then another 1,000, and then another 1,000. And then up here, I sell all 5,000. So, and the reason I like doing that is because if this doesn't break past support and bounces back and comes crashing down, now if I have to cut a loss, for example, I'm only cutting a loss on 20% of my position instead of the whole thing. So it's a great way to manage risk instead of going all in right away. You could do the same thing going out too. Like, oh my gosh, this looks really good. I'm gonna sell 4,000 shares, but just in case it keeps running, I'm gonna keep 1,000 in, and maybe it'll keep running, and I can minimize my risk and lock in profits, but yet still keep an option to still make some more money in case it does keep on running. And then if it doesn't, then you just get the heck out real quick. And that's just a good reason to scale in and out. So yeah, locking in profits. I mean, locking in profits is taking profits. Scaling is just like, taking, putting in a piece at a time, 1,000 shares, 1,000 shares, 1,000 shares, 1,000 and 1,000 and all 5,000 out, or maybe 4,000 out, keep 1,000 in, scale it out. So hope that made sense. Can you move your stop loss at any time during the trade? Yeah, you can edit your trade. Yeah, no problem. But we don't use stop losses because, other traders can see that. Market makers can see your stop losses. If that's why if you see a stock drop really fast, it probably triggered a bunch of stop losses and everything came down. So I don't know. I like to set mental stop losses because a lot of times, I'll get into a trade and, if it looks better than I expected, I might switch up my trading plan a little bit more and kind of go for a bigger profit. So, could you start with $400? Yeah, you certainly can. Yeah, you definitely can. If you're starting with like $400 or $500, I would just focus on like 10, 20 cent stocks personally, and then kind of move up from there, So, what amount of money do you suggest starting with? If in a perfect world, if money's no object, no, seriously, I think a good amount is like 3,000 if you have it. If you don't, it's okay. But if you have a bunch of money laying around, $3,000 is a good amount, So, all right. Okay, let me see if I have any more questions. Oh, yeah, Matthew, if you want to trade more, go back. Yeah, I would do a cash account. Yeah, so $1,000 a day you can trade, So then you can trade as much. I mean, you could make, if you're trading really, really small, you could trade like $300 trades a day, So, all right, guys. Does anyone need a link for the strategy session before I go? It's your last chance. For those of you who are late, strategy session is a one-on-one opportunity with Tim's team members to analyze your situation and give you a plan that will work for you. That's pretty much simplifies it. We'll give you a plan that works for you, see where, when, how you fit into our team, if you do or not, and then, get a plan and go from there. So what makes a stock grow or go down during closing market hours? One second. Someone needed a link. Sorry. Carol, are you not seeing this link? I'm replying privately as well. Eric is meeting with Jared on Tuesday. Jared's awesome. I've known Jared for years. He's such a good guy. So, I'm sorry. The question was, what makes a stock grow up or down during closed market hours. Well, people trade. So you can actually trade, you can see here, the market opens at 4 a.m. Eastern time. You can technically start trading at between 4 and 9:30 Eastern time, and you can trade from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time. So yeah, the market, this is aftermarket, this is pre-market. So people were actually trading aftermarket Thursday up until 8 o'clock at night, and then trading resumes at 4 in the morning Eastern time, which is, I don't get up that early, guys. I don't do a lot of pre-market trading. I kind of let all the action happen and then look for situations like this where you get a lot of volume, you get something going on, then it pulls back and you get another run during market hours. So, but that's why it's happening. Yeah, Daniel, I think James is going to reach out to you, Daniel, but I'll make sure. Oh, no, Mike, it should open a new window, or you can just save the link until we're done. I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up, guys. I'm going to drop this link. Everyone, click on that link right now. It's your last chance. I'm going in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate it. Study. And yeah, we'll see you guys on Tuesday. Back into the market. I'm excited next week. Hopefully big things I know big things are coming. The market's really hot. So everyone, take care. Have a great night.